Let me do my own celebration.
All right, let's move on to the next talking point. Yep. So, like I said, today we're going to be focusing on players. It's time we give officials, managers, and all of them a rest. In the Champions League game between Arsenal and Sporting Lisbon, we saw Gabriel Magalhães, Big Gabby. Arsenal had an amazing game, actually, very, very brilliant game of football. It's been a while. It was last season we saw Arsenal play the way they've played against Forest and against Sporting. But then Gabby scored in the game. And before that game, remember last week we even talked about Gyökeres being the name on everybody's lips, the man who is the most informed striker in the world right now. Everybody wants him. Every defense is scared of Gyökeres, both in the national team and in his club football. Everybody is scared of the man. But then the Arsenal juggernaut faced him, and somehow they were able to keep him quiet. There was even a story, a funny story actually. It's not true, but it's a funny story, that security had to stop Saliba and Gabriel on their way out of the stadium, the Sporting Lisbon stadium, because they suspected that they've stolen something.
Would be in their pocket, isn't it?
Belonged to them. And they searched their pocket and found Gyökeres in their pockets. But guys, when he scored his goal, he mimicked Gyökeres' celebration. Even Gyökeres had a funny reaction to the goal that, since it can't be original, since he wants to copy his style, that he can use it. He can, it's player banter. It's the way players, I've seen players score goals against teams that Ronaldo is playing in, and they do this sue in front of CR7, and at the end of the game he still hugs them, and all of that. But there's been a backlash that Gabby was not is it graceful in victory or magnanimous in victory? He was kicking a man that was down. I've heard pundits and former Arsenal players use different terminologies to describe what Gabby did. Eddie, did Gabby do anything wrong with that celebration? Wait, before you answer, bearing in mind that weeks ago we were all here up in arms that a certain Haaland went to Arsenal manager and told him, be humble, be humble. But I did the same thing, actually, really, if you look at it, I did the same thing.
First of all, let me do my own celebration. First of all, it was a fantastic performance. Gabriel, listen, when you score a goal like that, you can do anything that you want. That goal was just absolutely brilliant. Was it magnanimous in defeat? In victory? I don't know. Was it hilarious? Absolutely, it was hilarious. Listen,
did you enjoy it?
Did I enjoy it? Absolutely, I enjoyed it.
That's not fun talking.
In fact, I don't know how everybody missed this, but Saka actually joined in that thing. Saka did it for 2 seconds and put his hands down.
Yeah, biasness in bold letters.
Exactly. Arsenal fans loved it. Sporting fans hated it, and that's the point.
But Gyökeres didn't mind.
Exactly. Gyökeres did not mind. I think we need to stop being like kindergarten teachers, policing people's feelings, all around the place. This is football. It's not chess. People, after chess, you shake hands. Everyone is nice and courteous, polite, and all of that.
This is a gentleman's game. Football
is a gentleman's game. This is football. It's not
about so much passion,
Passion. If you've ever scored a goal, that feeling that you get when you score a goal, when you just think for that split second, nothing in the world matters. And for me, Gyökeres should even look at it as a compliment, right? It was my style. You see people that are mimicking Ronaldo's celebration. Lots of kids do that. Lots of players do that. Going and listen, for me, I thought it was a compliment to Gyökeres. Like, hey, okay, you've done it. I can also do it as well. all of these people that are coming out, whether it's Ljungberg, come give it a rest, go and have a nap, right? This is football, it's passion, is what we love. It brings us entertainment, it makes us talk about it. We don't want football to be a game with no passion whatsoever. We like the rivalry. We like the contentiousness. We don't want players to be shaking hands in the tunnel before the game, everyone giving themselves hugs. We used to talk about it, Arsenal, Manchester United, back in the days of Vieira, Keown. You see people in the tunnel, you know that you're here for war today. Everybody, after the game, we can shake hands. But before the game, we're out to make sure that you do not win. And that's what the beauty of football is. So for me, they should calm down, relax, everyone join in with the celebration. Let's all have fun. That's my own view.
Femi.
Yes.
Let's be. I did deliberately avoided something I asked. A few weeks ago, somebody accosted Arteta after a game, right? Erling Haaland. And he told Arteta, be humble. And a lot of Arsenal, actually, I don't think there is an Arsenal fan who didn't have a go at.
Absolutely, and rightly so.
But are they the same? If you want to look at the same situation, are they the same thing?
I mean, let's put it into context at first. And I think the context is Ireland has been mercurial in England. So maybe he would think to himself, he probably has a right to say somebody else should be humble. But if you look at the guy that we're mimicking here, Gyökeres is en route to doing something nobody in European football has ever done, including Lionel Messi and Ronaldo. Messi's record in terms of scoring in Europe for Barcelona, both in the Champions League and in La Liga, will take away the goals he scored for Argentina because those were not in Europe. So you look at the European scoring record. His record is actually 73 goals. That was back in 2011, 2012. Now, Gyökeres is actually on course to bettering that record with his number of goals at the minute. And this has been everywhere. So everybody knows his record, right? Even Mario Jardel, that scored so many goals for Sporting and for Porto as well back in the day, he only netted 55 2 seasons in a row for those two clubs. Actually, he came to England for one season, went back again and scored for two different teams, Sporting and, of course, Porto. So what I'm looking at is Gyökeres is a phenomenon at the minute. And the Arsenal players, I'm sure you remember the Aubameyang thing when he said Arsenal, it's nothing personal, isn't it? Arsenal players always look at social media. They're always up to date on what is going on. I really like them for that. So they knew very much and very well that everybody was expecting this kid to totally annihilate our two strong defenders, or the best centre-back pairing in Europe at the minute. Of course, Saliba and Gabriel. So those boys actually did their homework really well. And of course, Gabriel put it really well by scoring a magnificent header. And like Eddie said, if you go and do that, and the guy that is meant to be doing the scoring is in your back pocket, whatever you do, you're well and truly allowed to do. So I am going to say, given the momentum that Gyökeres has had so far, is probably a bigger thing than the issue that happened at the Etihad with Ireland, who doesn't even have the European scoring record yet, and who genuinely, the most he managed was 52 goals, isn't it, in a season. So this guy is actually on course. By the time we had 17 games in the league, Messi had only scored 22. This guy scored 24 goals in 17 games for Sporting this season. So you're looking at somebody who is about to break the European scoring record, and then he comes up against Man City. He totally kills Man City with a hat-trick. 3 weeks later, he comes up against Arsenal. Everybody's expecting another hat-trick. And then my guys, my boys, my people, they go and put him in the shade. Look, I don't like it, I have to say, because it might come back to bite you in the bum. But what do they say in football? You sing when you're winning, Cali. And I think at the minute, it's a bigger story than what happened at the Etihad. Look, Ireland has scored 2 goals in 6 games afterwards. Ireland is nobody at the minute. So I don't think he's going to be scoring goals anytime. So that thing is biting him. But my boys, they're going to be defending for the rest of their lives. Trust me.
My God.
Festus, your reaction. I can see you shaking your head already.
I am saying biasness in bold letters. I know, And this is why most of the feedback I have this Chelsea, Victor, right? Kali. Victor will say anytime I see this thing, I get so angry. I said, why do you get angry? He said, you guys should rename it as Arsenal football fan stuff. That we never like Chelsea. Anytime we have Chelsea, I said, no, that I think at times we give clear and unbiased stuff. But, those are some of the feedbacks anyway. A lot of people get angry because you could see the biasness, you could see the passion when it comes to stuff like this. And now I want to dissect this, not as an Arsenal fan, but as what is obtainable in football in general. Currently, things like this, generally, for me, is considered disrespectful. Like celebrating in front of rival fans, mimicking a player, or, like what Adebayo did, running across the length, anything that's, provocative in nature, it's considered disrespectful because you can actually taunt and provoke, the rival fans, and it could escalate tension. It could create a kind of negative atmosphere in the field. And before you know, it could even lead to something that, the securities or what security in place may not be able to contain. So the football authorities generally, they try to tone down on stuff like this, and they always frown on it. It may not be illegal, it may not be like he has broken any law, but generally a lot of people views it as a sportsman-like, behavior. Like you said, Gyökeres did not find it offensive. He was calm about it, cool about it, but everybody cannot be Gyökeres. We have a whole lot of players that could react, forcefully and negatively based on that celebration. It could spark a whole lot of back and forth issues between the fans or even the club. So we all know that goal celebrations are often lightheaded, spur of the moment thing. But when you mimic an opponent's gesture, which is harmless, but is always considered as harmless banter. But in competitive settings, like I said before, it is clearly viewed as a mockery, which in Gabriel's situation, I believe clearly is a mockery. If let me assume the likes of Odegaard or Saka celebrates that way, after scoring, believe me, it may not have even generated so much tension or so much talking points. Why is it generating so much? Because this is the defender directly in charge of stopping you, having a very good game, stopping you and scoring, and that is why you see this, a whole lot of
You missed one other reason why it's becoming big. It's because people hate Arsenal. That's also another reason why it's anything that Arsenal does. Remember when Odegaard.
Wow. There must always be something against Arsenal. There must always.
I agree. But remember,
that's not the only club in the world.
I agree, Kali. I know there is a whole lot of, media attention when it comes to Arsenal, but I am putting it in the general perspective. How celebrations
Arsenal
are
is not the only club. Guys, Arsenal is not the only club in the world. Everybody cannot hate you. Is this your mouth that puts people in trouble?
We are very vocal. We are very vocal when it comes to social media.
People's mouths.
Yes, we are vocal. Just like what is happening here, you could see what Femi and Eddie, you could see immediately what we condemn.
It is their mouth.
What we condemned weeks ago now is acceptable because it's us.
If Gyökeres
Eddie, let me just throw
clearly. Let me land, guys. Let me land on this.
Eddie, let me land on this. You land, let me throw you something. Yeah,
you are cutting me off. I want to land, Femi.
But one thing I want to just maybe you can comment on this. I think one of the reasons he did it is because we all know that these boys have a way of attracting players to Arsenal. It's to get the boys' attention.
I don't think so. I don't think it.
You never know. They may know something we don't know.
You can't mock somebody and want to attract him.
Let's finish what you were saying before.
No, you can't. I'm even responding. You can't mock somebody by mimicking him. Clearly, Gabriel was mimicking. He was clearly mimicking.
Mimicking may not be mockery. It may be banter.
No. That's mockery. For me, my interpretation of that goal celebration is mockery. I think
no, it's not because the guy even said it wasn't.
Femi, hold on.
Can you allow me land? I'm airing my opinion. Yeah, that is what I think. I think that's what he did. Like I said, if any other striker has done that, it wouldn't have been a big issue. But because Gabriel did it, the defender directly marking him, I think that is how it was viewed. It was viewed as unsportsmanlike behavior. And in the general parlance of football, when you celebrate in front of rival fans, mock a player and stuff like that, it is always viewed this way. And that is why it's happening. I don't think it's right. Yes, football, like I said, is a harmless banter. But when it comes to things like this, it is not viewed it's viewed as disrespectful.
In one sentence, answer this question. Will you take Gyökeres at Arsenal?
Kali, please, I need
in one sentence. Don't do it.
Yes, and yes. That guy completes our team. In fact, that is the last point.
No, you're doing a Femi.
No, but that is not this particular issue is not attracting him.
You are doing a Femi. It's okay. Don't explain. You have answered the question.
Femi, yes. He needs to go.
Kali cut it. Well done, Kali.
Femi, don't do a Femi. Will you take Gyökeres at us now? Don't do a Femi.
100 times, yes.
It's not you, Festus. Femi, will you take?
Who was it? Who was the guy that scored that went and did a Ronaldo in front of? He did see you in front of Ronaldo.
Femi, they asked you a question. Can you answer yes or no?
He doesn't even need to answer. I asked that. He knows I will say yes. Now we need a striker. I mean,
I don't do. Am
Havertz is playing too many games at the minute. He needs look. He had a rest on Saturday, and then he was magnificent. In the Champions League, you can't be playing week in week out with the current schedule. You need a striker like that, and this guy is supreme.
And now you are doing a pattern of play.
First of all,
I will pay 150 million for that guy. That guy will win us the
200 million. Please, let's pay. Believe
200
me.
million now money, Abi.
Are
you getting any part of that money? I don't want to hear all those money rubbish.
No, money.
Eddie. Look at Declan. How the guy became a silly guy for us in midfield.
Please pay. If they want to borrow and pay.
Thank you, Eddie. Would you take Gyökeres at Arsenal?
Yes, I'll take him. I like it.
Fantastic.
Simple. The guy is powerful. He can score goals.
It's okay.
Doing what nobody else has ever done.
We talked about him last week. No need to rehash it. Thank you.